Have you ever been involved in a crash and felt lost and confused in the aftermath, unsure of what steps to take or how to protect your rights? I understand the overwhelming emotions, the confusion that often comes after being hurt real bad in a crash. From the importance of immediate medical care, to using health insurance, to seeking legal guidance, being cautious on social media and documenting every detail. What I want to do now is empower you with some of the knowledge and tools needed to navigate the aftermath of a crash with confidence. My name is Kenneth Berger, and I'm an attorney here in South Carolina who focuses on life-changing injury and wrongful death cases. I want to make sure our community, including you, is educated on how to handle a car accident so that you can achieve a full, fair result at the end of your case. First thing, number one always, is your health and medical care. Medical care is crucial after a car crash. The initial provider, whoever you see, is typically either an EMT or a doctor in an emergency room or urgent care setting. The primary goal is to ensure that whoever's been involved in the crash, of course, receives the proper and immediate medical attention to prevent any type of emergency or, God forbid, someone from passing. Now, even when someone is discharged from the emergency room, typically they're going to continue experiencing significant pain, the injuries and symptoms that correlate with them for days, if not weeks and months to follow. Now, oftentimes these symptoms will get worse in the few days afterwards because swelling increases, inflammation increases, and when that happens, additional symptoms manifest. It's also because the shock and adrenaline of the crash tend to wear off over time. Because of that, I highly recommend consulting with a doctor or other healthcare professional for further assessment and treatment. The most important thing is that you get the medical care you need. You only have one life, and you only have one shot at your health. It's also essential that all of your injuries are properly documented throughout your treatment. What I often will say is, look, when you go see a doctor, start at the top of your head and work all the way down to the tips of your toes and share anything that hurts, anything that's been caused by this crash. As the old saying goes, if you didn't document it, it didn't happen. And the same goes for a legal case. This documentation serves as valuable evidence to support your case, and that way it's not a lawyer saying it, it's actually the doctor's own medical record saying it. That's important evidence. Number two is health insurance. I can't say strongly enough, if you have health insurance, use it. These will create significant savings and almost always a better net financial outcome at the end of a case. Now, one of the things that we've seen in South Carolina is hospitals will often tell you you can't use your health insurance, that you should rely solely on your settlement money from a personal injury case. That is flat out wrong. It's important to know that that kind of advice is not only incorrect, but may be illegal because it would serve as a breach of contract. You're getting denied and deprived your rightful health insurance benefits. And for that reason, I'll always recommend to utilize your health insurance coverage whenever possible to minimize your out-of-pocket expenses, and also to where at the end of the case, you keep as much of the settlement or verdict money as possible instead of all that money going to pay back medical bills. Bottom line, when it comes to the financial advantages of using health insurance, think about it this way. You'd much rather have a smaller out-of-pocket expense or copay than the entire medical bill to deal with at the end of the case. And I'll give you an example. Let's say you've got a $10,000 medical bill and your copay is only around $1,000. Well, we'd much rather have to owe that $1,000 or the little bit of money that health insurance may pay out than having to deal with that entire $10,000 medical bill at the end of the case. As you know, health insurance companies have negotiated rates with these healthcare providers, including the hospitals. So by filing all your bills through health insurance, you end up receiving the benefits of those negotiated rates, and bottom line, you receive more of the money versus it going to doctors and hospitals. Number three, really important point. Before engaging in any real conversations with the insurance companies, I highly recommend at least consulting with a lawyer. And the reason for that is typically anything that you say to an insurance adjuster can and will be used against you in a court of law. It's critical to exercise caution and be mindful of your words and the potential consequences of your statements when you're talking to the insurance folks. Now, speaking with a lawyer, and these are free consults, okay? Speaking with a lawyer prior to interacting with the insurance companies can 100% help protect your legal rights and guarantee that you don't unintentionally say anything that could be highly detrimental to your case. Lawyers who have experience handling life-changing injury and wrongful death cases understand the insurance claim process and the whole array of personal injury issues. And because of that, they can provide valuable guidance and advice for dealing with the outset of the process. Please know that lawyers who focus on personal injury cases should only be charging on what's known as a contingency basis. And what that really means is the only way they receive any money or charge a fee is if they recover money on your behalf, if there's successful settlement or verdict on your behalf. And working on a contingency fee also allows individuals, and face it, most folks don't have the money to just spend on hour after hour after hour of lawyer fees, especially after they've been hurt in a significant way, to pay lawyers. So contingency fees allow people to, instead of coming up with all that money up front, it ends up getting paid on the back end in a percentage way from the money the lawyer recovers. And again, if the lawyer doesn't get anything, guess what? You shouldn't have to pay them anything. And that makes legal representation far more accessible to the folks in need, especially people who've been hurt with life-changing injuries. Okay, I want everybody to know that money recovered from a personal injury case, money recovered for any type of physical injury, is 100% tax-free. That means you don't have to pay any taxes on the money you receive for your physical injuries. At the same time, it's really important to know that if your case goes to verdict, and if a jury comes back not only with what are known as actual or compensatory damages, which are tax-free, but a jury also returns a verdict for punitive damages, that punitive damages may be taxable. And the reason for that is that punitive damages are meant to punish the at-fault party, and because of that, they may be taxable. Number 4, right now you're on social media, but after a car crash, I beg you, please stay off of social media. Reason being that anything that gets posted on social media about the crash or about your injuries can potentially be used as evidence in a later legal proceeding. And sometimes it can be taken out of context and be used against you. Insurance adjusters and defense attorneys will often scrutinize and dig deep into your social media post to see if there is a way that they could use your words or your post in a way that decreases the value of your case and hurts you financially. By staying away from social media during this time, you can reduce the chances of posts being analyzed, scrutinized, misconstrued in a way that can have a negative impact on your case. Remember to make sure that your legal interests are fully protected and that someone doesn't try to add insult on top of the injury that you've already incurred. Please refrain from social media regarding the crash. What will happen is they will misconstrue it, overanalyze it, and try to turn it against you in a way that only hurts you more. Number 5, it's important to document everything that you remember about the crash as close in time to the crash as possible. Now that includes gathering information from witnesses who may have been present at the scene, and I can't tell you how important it is to make sure you get their contact information, because what they saw, what you experienced, a lot of times the other side will try to dispute and come up with a different version. Those independent witnesses whose information that you get from the scene are often the difference maker in justice or injustice. It's also important to note that any statements made by the at-fault driver who hit you and was involved in the crash, as well as any notable behaviors that they've shown before or after the crash, are documented. And what that means is if you saw them with their head down before they crashed on the back of you and were probably texting, if they were slurring their words or smelled like alcohol after the crash, all of these things are critical when it comes to obtaining full justice. When you meet with a lawyer, please make sure that during these free consults, you share all of the details that you recall from the crash up front. If the lawyer doesn't know it, the lawyer can't document, share it, and help put together the case. We want to also avoid any surprises that may come up later in the case. With this key information, again, including witness contact information and the behavior before and after the crash that you observed in the at-fault driver, your lawyer can better assess the entire picture, build a stronger case, and make sure your rights are fully protected. Remember, the more comprehensive and accurate your information is, including information you may have obtained from witnesses, the better equipped your lawyer will be in fully representing you and telling your full story. So provide the lawyer with a clear account as best as you can remember of what happened, the witness information, and any other details that you think may be important. When it comes to sharing with your lawyer, I always tell people, look, overshare versus undershare, and let the lawyer decide what may be most important to the legal case. In summary, by understanding the importance of medical care, using your health insurance, receiving legal guidance before talking with the insurance folks, being cautious on social media, and documenting what happened in the moments leading up to and after the crash, you can better navigate the aftermath and make sure that your legal rights are more effectively protected and upheld. My team and I are here to answer your questions and provide as much guidance as possible to help make sure the aftermath of this crash goes as well as it possibly can. So if you've been hurt, go to my website and the link below. You can set up a free consultation. Again, we'll answer your questions and we will do everything we possibly can to see how we can help.